Hi everybody, it's Crystal. So today I'm going to show you how to crochet this beautiful throw. I call it my bonfire blanket. I know right now that I'm making the video, it's the middle of summer, but I don't like crocheting for summer. I wanted to make this blanket. I don't generally make blankets myself. Usually I pass that on to my husband or something, but I did decide to do this one myself, and it's very easy to do. So if you're a beginner and you know the basic stitches, all you're going to need to know how to do here is chain, single, and double, and it's very, very easy. And I think since it's such a simple stitch, it works well for a variegated yarn like this, and it will also work well for a solid. And you can use striped yarns or whatever, any type of yarn that you want. But yes, so my size is 54 long and it's 60 inches tall. So you can make it as big or as small as you want, or you can use the stitch for something else. By all means, sure. But I'll go ahead and show you the yarn I used, and we'll go ahead and get started. I love it. It's so beautiful. I love these colors though. Hey, these are my colors. I love them. Let's go ahead and get started. For mine, I use a special yarn for mine because I'm making this to go on a rocking chair for my house. So I use this, the brand I use is called Earth. It's the Merino Chunky Extra Fine Superwash Merino. It is a hand-dyed yarn. I got mine from Little Knits online, but there is their website. So what it is, it's a 100% extra fine superwash merino, and it is a super bulky weight. I consider it between a 5 and a 6 weight, and there are 99 yards, so there's not a lot of yardage in it, but that's okay because like I said, it was a special project. You don't have to use this yarn. Any yarn that you want to use is fine, and any weight that you want to use is fine. For my project, I used a 9mm crochet hook, and I also used about, let's see, 22 hanks of that yarn. So about 22, close to 2,200 yards for my throw size of a between a 5 and 6 weight yarn. But remember, you can use a 6 weight, 5 weight, 4 weight, 3 weight, 2 weight, 1 weight, whatever you want to use. You just need to adjust your beginning chain to your liking. Now, for between the 5 and the 6, I used a 9mm. So if you're going to use a 5 weight or a 6 weight, I suggest a 9mm hook like I did. If you're going to use a 4 weight, I would probably do a 6.5mm hook. 3 weight, I'd probably use a 5.5mm. Because I wanted it to be a little bit loose, so it's not really tight, it has some give, so you can wrap it around yourself if you want to. The yarn that I'm using, just to show you for my swatch, in case anybody wants to know, is Bernat Baby Marley. I do have a baby blanket made out of this. If you guys want to check it out on my channel, it is a very nice yarn. But yeah, that's bulky 5, so that's what I'm using just for the sample swatch. So remember, any yarn, any yarn, any weight is fine. So I'm going to show you on a different bulky 5 on a smaller scale, because that yarn that I use is a bit busy, and I didn't want you to have trouble seeing what I was doing. So this stitch is done in any odd number of stitches, so it does not matter how long your chain is, as long as it's an odd number. Now the chain that I started with was 141 chains. Now remember, that is going to be the width of your project. So 141 is what I started with, and once you get your chain of 141 done, we're going to do a double crochet in the 4th stitch from the hook. So we don't count this one that's on our hook, and we go 1, 2, 3, 4, and go ahead and double crochet into that 4th stitch. And then I'm going to put a double crochet in each of the remaining stitches for the length of our chain. 1 double in every stitch until we get to the end of our row. Okay, I've made it to the end of row 1, and if you're following along with me, you should have a total of 139 stitches, and that includes this chain here on the end. He counts as a stitch. Now this is just a 2-row repeat, so rows 2 and 3 are the repeat rows for the entire row, so it's very easy to do. So let's go ahead and start row 2. We're going to chain 1, and we're going to turn our work. Now that chain 1 does not count as a stitch, doesn't count as anything, so we're just going to pretend like it's not even there. And we're going to go ahead and put a single crochet into the very first stitch there. Like that. Now we're going to work a chain of 2. 1, 2. Now right here we are going to skip 1 double crochet. And right here in between this double crochet that we skipped and the next double crochet, we're going to put a single crochet. So we're not putting it into the top of the stitch, we're going to be working it in between the double crochets. So right here at first we're skipping 1 double and then going in between it and single crocheting like that. So now we're going to start the repeat of row 2. So we're going to chain 2, and now we're going to skip 2 double crochets. So skip, skip, and in between the 2 double crochets that we skipped and the next double crochet is where we will put our single. Not in the top of the stitch, but in between, underneath the stitches like that. Single crochet, chain 2, again skip 2 stitches, skip, skip, and in between this 2 that we skipped in the next one right here we put a single crochet. Chain 2, skip 2, skip, skip, spread out your stitches, and right there in between go right down in there and put your single crochet. And this is what we're going to repeat until we get to the end of the row. Chain 2, skip your 2 stitches, skip, skip, and in the space right here in between, single crochet. So what we're doing is making chain spaces right there for our next row. So I'm going to repeat this pattern of chaining 2, skipping 2, skip, skip, and single crocheting in the space between the double crochets until I get near the end of my row, and I'll meet back up with you. Alright, I'm coming to the end of the row, and I have 3 stitches that remain. So I stopped when I had 3 stitches. I just did a single crochet. I'm going to go ahead and do a chain 2. I'm going to skip these 2 stitches, but I'm going to put my single crochet into the top of the last stitch. I'm not going to go in between. I'm just going to go into the top of the last stitch and single crochet. Now if you're following along with me, you should have a total of 67 chain spaces now. Let's start row 3. Row 3, we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. Again, that chain 1 does not count as anything, so we always just pretend like it's not there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put a double crochet right here into this very first stitch, the single crochet from the previous row. Like that. Now we're going to work 2 double crochets in each of the chain 2 spaces. So I'm going to go over here to this next chain 2 space, and I'm going to go right through it and work 2 double crochets. There's 1 and there's 2. Then I'll jump to my next chain 2 space right here and work 2 double crochets. There's 1 and 2. Again, right here, my next chain 2 space, I'm going to work 2 double crochets. Jump to my next chain 2 space, 2 double crochets. So I'm going to continue row 3 by working 2 double crochets into every chain 2 space until I get to my last chain 2 space, and that's where I'll meet back up with you. So there's 2 into the next, and 2 into the next, and I'm going to continue until I get to my last chain space. All right, I'm coming to the end of round 3, and this is how we end round 3. So here is my last chain 2 space. What I'm going to do is put 1 double crochet into this chain 2 space, and then 1 double crochet into the last stitch from the previous row. And that is how we end row 3. And if you're following along with me, we should have our 139 stitches again. So that is it. You just keep repeating rows 2 and 3. So it's very easy to do. Let's see. I actually like both sides of the project myself. Now, if you want to end in a row of double crochet, that's what I did. If you want to put a border on it, you can, like a single crochet border, shell border, anything like that you want. Move this out of the way. Now, I did not border mine because I like the rough edge look on this. It's just going to match the decor that I'm going to be using. Like I said, this is my own personal throw that I made for myself. So I wanted this particular color, and I wanted the stitch to be simple to show off the yarn, and I wanted to have kind of a rustic rough edge. So I did not border mine, but you, by all means, if you do make the throw, you can border it in single crochet, shell, whatever you want to do. Remember, this stitch is also great for scarves, sweaters, a wrap. You can make an easy wrap out of this. Would be very beautiful. Rectangle shawls, anything you want to do, wash rag, anything really. It's a nice beginner stitch, and it works well. I like it a lot. So I hope you enjoyed my tutorial. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to hit all notifications. You want to make sure you receive all my notifications so you don't miss out on any of my videos, because I put on a lot of content and sometimes my tutorials get lost, but I do tutorials quite often, and I also do lots of other yarn content. Don't forget to check me out on Instagram, and you can post all your whatever you make on there. I'd really like to see a picture of it. Just hashtag me, Bagoday Crochet, and don't forget to hit the share this video and give it a like if you don't mind. Thanks everybody for watching. Bye bye guys. See you on my next video. All right, stay safe.